Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the GRCV Hoops podcast. My name is Gavin Campbell, and alongside me, as always, my good friend.
I'm Ricardo Vargas, and I'm glad to be here as always.
Sorry if we sound a little under the weather. It's been a long week. Caught a little bit of the sickness over the weekend, and haven't fully recovered yet. But we thought we'd be some troopers and get through this episode with you guys. But starting off today. Let me ask you, Rick. The Cavs are off to a 3-4 start so far after the first 2 weeks of the season. They lost back-to-back games against the Brooklyn Nets, New York Knicks, and New Orleans Pelicans. How concerned should Cavs fans be, and just NBA fans for that matter?
Like myself, I'm a little concerned because to the people they're losing, it's not like they're losing to the Celtics or other teams like that. It's the Nets, the Knicks. I thought they would get it together. I thought they would be clicking by now already. They have LeBron James. This is the first time it's happened like this, and I'm a little worried, but not too much. I think they'll figure it out, but I didn't think it would take them this long.
Right. I can agree with that. Some of the things that concern me, if we're to go in depth with it, are, first of all, the Cavs' defensive rating. I mean, this is I think last time I checked, it's either the worst in the league or definitely in the top 5 worst in the league in terms of defensive rating, and definitely worse than last year when I think they were the 22nd worst defense. And that team, I'm not sure if it was better. It's definitely better than the one they have right now. We'll have to see what happens when Isaiah Thomas comes back, but that's definitely not a good sign. Another thing is J.R. Smith shooting 17% from three, gosh. Derrick Rose shooting 20% from three. Just the overall shooting struggles for this team continue, and we know that this team is built around LeBron and driving inside and then kicking it out to open shooters on the wing. I don't know how many times I've said this on the show already, but we know that that's the way that they run their offense. And if shots aren't falling, we've seen the Houston Rockets especially, you live and die by the three-point shot. And if they can't get shots to fall, then I don't know how well the rest of the season is going to play out for them. But I do agree with you that LeBron will probably figure out a way to, get things together.
And at the worst, I think they'll have it together by the time, when Isaiah Thomas comes back. They'll be good to go when he gets back, and they will be clicking. Hopefully by that time they'll already have it figured out. They have a great defender in Jay Crowder. They have LeBron James. They'll get it together. I know it.
And you would think with someone that has someone with the kind of skills that Jay Crowder brings on the defensive end of the floor, that their rating wouldn't be as bad as it is, but we can see that just having one person play defense like he can doesn't, propel a whole team up into the upper. I can't speak today. The upper tier. Let me just not even use that word because I can't pronounce it. The upper tier in terms of defense, but. I mean, it's a little ridiculous because we know LeBron can play defense. We know that even D Wade in his advanced age can play defense. And I know I hate to say that, but he's getting up there. I mean, he's 35 years old. And Jay Crowder obviously can play defense. Derrick Rose isn't a terrible defender, but he's been hurt for a couple games now. It's just really disappointing to see that they haven't gotten it together yet. But like you said, I do agree that they will eventually get this together. We know that LeBron teams in the past, when he's gone to the Heat, even when he's come back to Cleveland back in 2014-15, it took some time for that team to gel together. And like you said, well, hopefully they get it figured out.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one for sure. And what about the Knicks?
Man, the New York Knicks. Speaking of, the Cavs losing to the Knicks are 3-3 right now, and we thought this was going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Bottom 5 for sure. I think it's due to the play of Kristaps Porzingis, and I think you said he was averaging over 29 points a game, almost 30.
Yeah, almost 30 and almost 9 rebounds. He's playing like a true MVP, and he's super efficient as well.
And, you say MVP. Some people might laugh at that statement, but, if the Knicks somehow do get into the playoffs, and if they can go 41-41 in the Eastern Conference, maybe even snag a 6 seed, possibly 7 or 8 for sure, I think throwing MVP out there, there's nothing wrong with that statement at all.
Oh, no, there's
very
nothing
possible.
Wrong. No, he is playing like a superstar, and not just him. Tim Hardaway Jr. finally broke out and had like a 34-point game the other night. Thankfully, oh man, because he needed that one after getting that big payday. And shoot, if Porzingis, Hardaway, Cantor, he's playing good.
Even Frank Ntilikina, their point guard, is starting to show his skill.
Yeah, no, if they can get it together, keep playing how they're playing, like this team has a bright future. Like, of course not this season, they're not going to make it to the finals or anything, but they get another piece of next year or something. Hey, watch out for them.
Absolutely, it's looking up for New York, and we're definitely happy to say that after I've been talking down about them the past few episodes.
Yeah,
and it's definitely been hard to be a Knicks fan ever since that 2013 playoff run with Carmelo Anthony and company.
Right. No, it has.
But it's surprising, but it's a good surprise.
It is.
Porzingis is an incredible talent, and you have to wonder now. As much of a fool as Phil Jackson made of himself in that organization, you have to think maybe he had the team's best interest in mind trying to get rid of Melo. Yes, he went about it in the wrong way, but now that Melo's gone, he drafted Porzingis a year before. He drafted Frank Ntilikina. Maybe he really knew what he was talking about and just didn't know how to express it,
Exactly.
And that doesn't excuse anything that he did or any actions that he made,
Right.
I mean, a fool is a fool, but I mean, there is a reason that he's an 11-time champion as a coach.
Yeah, it didn't happen by accident. No one's perfect, and he did draft Porzingis, which is one of the best moves they've made in a long time. And shoot, like, he's for sure going to be an all-star. That's great for the East. I'm happy to see that, and yeah, we'll just see what they do,
Absolutely. We're definitely looking forward to that now. We'll see how their play continues for the rest of the season. But speaking of another team that I didn't even have in my top 8 seeds in the Eastern Conference to start the year, which some people laughed at me, and I'm now laughing at myself because they're sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference right now with a 5-2 record. The Detroit Pistons, they knocked off the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Clippers this past week in back-to-back nights, and they were both away games. Rick, how impressive were the Pistons?
I am very impressed with the Pistons because, like yourself, I did not expect them to be playing this well. I'm really liking the play from Reggie Jackson. Tobias Harris, he's averaging 20 points and 4.5 rebounds. I'm impressed by what they're doing. But I do want to see Stanley Johnson play better. He was a high draft pick a few years back. If he can get it going, like, this team can be scary. Drummond, he's been playing good. They have the talent.
Absolutely.
These past few years they haven't been able to do it, but maybe this year they get it all figured out.
We know a couple years ago when they made it into the playoffs as an 8 seed and ended up getting swept by Cleveland. We know that team was talented. They were sitting at a 10 seed going into the last few weeks of the season, and they grinded it out and ended up getting that last playoff spot. And like you said, Andre Drummond playing just like he did, the past couple seasons really well. We know he's a double-double machine. Tobias Harris, like you said, I've really liked to see his improvement throughout the years. Him in Milwaukee to Orlando to now in Detroit, and just to see the growth and progression of him as a scorer and almost coming into a leadership type of role with this team. And not only him, but Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson, for sure.
After that terrible year he had last year, it was truly abysmal, to be honest.
Brutal. It was a brutal year by him.
But he's finally playing like Reggie Jackson from a couple years ago.
OKC Reggie Jackson.
Exactly, when he got into that kerfuffle with Russell Westbrook and saying that he wasn't getting enough playing time and whatever other complaints he had. Getting traded to Detroit, he showed why he wanted to be the number one point guard on the team, and he's showing it again this year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I completely agree. He's a really good he's a good starting point guard. He's no superstar, but he's getting the job done night in, night out. And I just hope they keep playing like this because it's good to see good competition, good teams in the East.
Oh, absolutely, especially with all the talk of, the West. Oh, the West is so much better. The West is this and that.
Exactly.
And everyone calling the East trash, yes, there's the biggest probably talent gap that we've ever seen in between two conferences before in the NBA, but it's not like the East is completely rid of any competent players.
Right.
There's a reason they're in the National Basketball Association. They believe me, they wouldn't be there if they weren't worth it at all.
Exactly. No, they're still professional teams. They're not like high school teams.
Right. They didn't move all the teams from the East to the West and then call up some tier 2 college level squads to come play in the NBA. That's ridiculous.
Right.
But getting back to the Pistons, one more point here. I think what's a part of their success has been their bench production. Henry Ellison was a guy that they were really high on a couple years ago. Their rookie Ish Smith has been phenomenal off the bench for them in the backup point guard role. I just love his name, Ish Smith.
What a guy!
What a name!
What a champ!
But yeah, Ish Smith has been great for them off the bench, and then Luke Kennard, their rookie out of was he from Duke?
Duke,
Duke, and then he's been okay for them in the games that he's been. Or appeared in so far, and I'm just really impressed with the Pistons overall. I mean, especially for a team that I didn't consider to be a playoff team, frankly. I mean, obviously borderline, I considered them, but I just didn't see it, mostly because of the struggles they had last year. But they have a good coach.
They do.
And
I'm a big fan of him.
Absolutely, and like we said, with the Knicks, we'll see how they do in the Eastern Conference, and expect Andre Drummond to be in the All-Star game, and
for sure,
he'll be back, and we'll see what happens going forward. But moving to the other conference in the West, this is something that's been really interesting, Rick. We know that the Suns fired their head coach, Earl Watson, 3 games into the season after getting blown out by a record margin, especially at home, losing by 40 points to the Portland Trail Blazers. That was atrocious.
That was disgusting.
But the Suns, since firing their coach, have been 3-1.
Yeah, no, they've been clicking. I know they inserted Marquise Chris into the starting lineup. He's been playing a little bit better because at the start of the season he was just terrible. Devin Booker, he's stepping up, not just scoring. He's getting assists, getting rebounds. He had a great game last night against the Nets. And they have the talent, like we said before in previous podcasts. They have the talent. They just, I think it was the coach, to be honest. I think it was Earl Watson.
And you have to think, if this coach was holding them back this badly, or at least to the extent of getting blown out like this by so many points, it's like, why would you keep him throughout the summer if you thought that this was your guy? Why would you keep him around after last season that you were in the bottom 6 or 7 teams in the league? It just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, and it makes you wonder, how would they be playing right now if they still had Eric Bledsoe without this coach, but they still had Eric Bledsoe? Because if the coach was a problem, imagine how good they could be.
Absolutely.
That was their best player, a great point guard.
And we know that he's still sitting at home because they still have not gotten a trade done since last week. So he's still on their roster. He's still on their payroll, but he's not playing for them.
Exactly. And I don't think it was like a team with it was a problem with the team chemistry. I think he got along with the players, but it's just he wanted to win.
It definitely makes you think if there was something between him and Coach Watson, if they had some struggles there, or if there were some issues, or maybe just a personality clash. We don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. We don't know, but it is what it is. Good thing they're doing good now. Hopefully, Eric Bledsoe, he goes to a good team, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, the Eric Bledsoe watch we will keep an eye on, and hopefully goes to a contender for sure. But like we said, he's in the prime of his career, and his talent definitely does not need to be wasted.
No, it does not.
But moving on, and speaking of success and careers and things like that, Rick, who do you want to see in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals? What would be your dream scenario?
Okay, my dream scenario, and I think it's going to be the scenario that is going to happen. I think it's going to be the Cavs and the Celtics, and then the Warriors and Thunder.
I'm going to have to agree with you because I know we were talking about this before the show, but, I think that's just a Cinderella story for both sides.
It is.
Especially, starting with the Eastern Conference. Kyrie and LeBron and just that.
What a story that would be. Imagine the thing going to 7 games. Wow.
This is why we were so disappointed at the beginning of the year when the Celtics lost Gordon Hayward ultimately. Just a series, between, Kyrie and Isaiah Thomas. And then, not just the Kyrie and LeBron, but, Isaiah Thomas versus Boston.
Exactly. That's a whole other story in itself.
It would truly be a Cinderella-type situation,
Gordon Hayward versus LeBron, 2 great small forwards.
Absolutely. And, Gordon Hayward up and coming, finally getting that max contract. Yeah. And,
well deserved.
Getting paid for what he's worth.
Yeah, no, for sure. It would be really nice. The young guys, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown going out against the Cavs. It'd be nice to see.
Absolutely. And that's very plausible. It's very plausible. Yes, Gordon Hayward is hurt, but the Celtics are doing just fine right now. They're 5-3 right now, sitting in second place right behind the Pistons in the Eastern Conference so far.
And yeah, they're doing this without Gordon Hayward. Hopefully, I think he will be back for the playoffs. Of course, he won't be playing, the whole game and whatnot, but he'll get some minutes, and yeah, hopefully we'll see some good things happen in the playoffs with them, and hopefully have Gordon Hayward in
Absolutely, and seeing the opposite end of that, Oklahoma City Thunder and Golden State Warriors series in the West, for me, I know the East is that's a really interesting matchup and very plausible. Just like the other side here in the Western Conference, very plausible. The Thunder and Warriors going to the Western Conference Finals. You have Kevin Durant obviously in his second year with his squad, and now you have Russell Westbrook and his team, newly vamped. Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. He finally has help. Going up against
good help.
Exactly, going up against the juggernaut that is the Golden State Warriors. I think this series for me, and I know for a lot of other people, this would probably be a dream scenario. But the Western Conference Finals is going to be great, whoever's there, whether it be Oklahoma City or San Antonio, Houston, even Minnesota, Memphis always has a shot.
They always have a shot.
Just the West is so stacked, and I think anyone that gets in, it's going to be a great series. But I think ultimately the Oklahoma City Thunder Golden State series would be great. Obviously have the KD and Westbrook, storyline there. And then, you have Melo getting back to the conference finals and
him going at it versus KD.
Exactly. Maybe having a chance to go to his first NBA finals ever.
I would love to see Melo in the finals.
Absolutely. And that if it came down to, a game 7 where you needed one shot, Melo's going to take it.
That's the guy.
Melo's going to take it.
But let me ask you this. Which one do you think would be better to watch just because of the story, everything around it?
Man.
The Thunder, the Warriors, or Celtics and Cavs? That's a tough one.
For me personally, just because I'm more acclimated to the Eastern Conference, being a Raptors fan. You keep up with your conference more so than the opposite. I think for the majority of people, it would be the Warriors and Thunder finals, just because of. You have the big 3/big 4 in Golden State, and then you have the new big 3 of Paul George, Anthony, and Westbrook on the Thunder, and having those two go at each other. And just honestly, the whole, Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant beef, I think it's become such a norm, and people just would love to see that settled, between one great series. And I think that would be fantastic. But for me personally, I think I would have to go with the East just because, I'm a huge LeBron James fan, but I mean, I have love for Kyrie Irving. He's a fantastic player. But watching, Kyrie go at Isaiah Thomas and vice versa, and then LeBron, and if Gordon Hayward is able to come back, he's not going to be 100%, but Gordon Hayward is still very talented.
Extremely talented. That would be something to watch.
Absolutely. Having him and LeBron go at it, and then, Kevin Love and Al Horford, Jaylen Brown and Tristan Thompson, just the matchups. I mean, I think that for me would be more entertaining just because, LeBron's getting up there. And really the whole Cavaliers team is, up there in age.
Yeah, they are.
And, you have the young Celtics with Kyrie and Tatum and Rozier and Brown and those guys. And I think it would just be, a clash of young versus old kind of. You could spin it like that, and it would just be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it would be incredible to see another team that doesn't include LeBron James in the finals for the East.
For the first time in, 8 years. That would be.
Goodness. It'd be incredible to watch.
Just imagine that. It's been 8. If he makes it there again, 8 years in a row.
It just seems normal now to see him in the finals. That's why
I feel like it would just throw everyone off if LeBron wasn't in the finals this year.
Right. So seeing the Celtics back in the finals, that would be incredible.
I mean, that's something to think about. I haven't seen anyone else in the NBA finals since I was 13 years old.
Right.
I mean,
right.
This is ridiculous. And it just it shows testament to his greatness. And LeBron just. I mean, for me, is definitely, a top 2 or 3 player of all time, if not the greatest player of all time, arguably. But it's just, it's incredible to be able to, live in this time and be able to watch him play and the things that he's able to do and the things that he's already accomplished.
It's truly incredible, and I don't take it for granted. But let me ask you this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the last team that was in the finals in the East was the Celtics before
I believe you're right.
Oh my
I
goodness.
believe you're right. Was it 2009?
Oh my goodness.
2009 was that 2009-10 was that
Yeah, 2009-10 Lakers.
Lakers won
Yeah.
against the Celtics. That's right. Kobe's repeat
Gosh.
without Shaq.
That's because Kendrick Perkins missed Game 7. But that's another story. That
sounds like a salty Celtics fan over there. But
That's another story.
Hey, I can't talk. My team's never even seen the finals, so it's it hurts. It hurts. But what can you do, man? Hey, we were there. A couple years ago, and no one thought that we had a lick of a chance to even get one game from the Cavs, and it ended up going 6. I tell you what, I've never been more excited as a Raptors fan going 6 games against LeBron James.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, getting back on topic here. How about we talk about the Indiana Pacers? Go back to the summer, back in July, right? Paul George gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis, son of Arvydas Sabonis, who was a beast for the Portland Trailblazers back in his day. Everyone thought that the Thunder won the Paul George trade, right? It's like I always say, whoever gets the superstar wins the trade, right?
Right.
But Victor Oladipo is honestly been playing like an all-star these past 4 games for the Indiana Pacers.
Oh no, he has, and it's tough because it shouldn't be surprising me because before last year, before when he was on the Magic, he was a great player, borderline all-star.
Absolutely.
But then he went to the Thunder. It was kind of a down year, and then with the Pacers, the only bright spot was supposed to be Miles Turner, but he's been hurt, and now Oladipo just took the spotlight in Indiana, and just how you said, he's been playing like an all-star.
Absolutely, and let's not forget that when the Thunder traded Serge Ibaka for Victor Oladipo, we thought that this was going to be Russ's second-hand man.
Right, exactly.
Come in and average, 21, 22 points a game and, hopefully lead the Thunder to, second-round Western Conference Finals. Obviously, that didn't happen. And I think when fans of the Pacers heard that they were getting Oladipo back and Sabonis, I don't even think they knew who Sabonis was if you're just a Pacer fan, But he's a good player in himself. But
no, he is.
Getting back to Oladipo, when they heard we were getting him back, you saw him play in Oklahoma City, and they were like, oh, okay, young player, good talent, but kind of disappointing. But now that they've seen what he's been able to do by himself, because Russell Westbrook is, like we've said, he is an alpha male. Okay, he is
no doubt about it.
He's an animal, and when you have to play with someone like that, and as we've seen with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, you kind of have to take a back seat to Russ. Even though Russell is starting to come out of his shell, we saw that his last game he only got 12 points, and the Thunder still won by 30 points. He's starting to realize he's like, okay, I can use my teammates. I don't have to do this by myself.
Right.
And when you're playing with a former All-Star and an All-Star, and you yourself were the MVP of the league last year, you're able to do that. But getting back to Oladipo, him being by himself in Indiana now and being able to, have that quote-unquote spotlight to himself, and then, like you said, Miles Turner going out with the concussion, hopefully he comes back soon because he has a great season ahead of him. I have no doubt in my mind. Most likely going to be an all-star.
For sure.
Hopefully, we hope. It's the all-star game and how they're gonna, select players is still a little
that's
fuzzy.
I forgot about that.
I'm really not sure about the details, but I'm not sure if they have to pick, so many people from the East or so many people from the West, and then they mix them together, or if you can pick 20 players from the West and then only like 10 from the East. I'm still not sure how that works. I'll have to look into that and I'll get back to you. But just Oladipo playing by himself in Indiana, and we saw him put up those crazy numbers the past 3 or 4 games.
And Indiana people know about Oladipo because he did go to Indiana University, so they know what he's capable of. And I think that they're happy he's back and he's playing the way he is.
Absolutely. We know that the players from the Big Ten too. They're capable of scoring a lot of points in a lot of games.
A lot of big names from the Big Ten.
We've definitely seen it over the years. Just to get back to it, when Darren Williams came in the league, he wasn't an instant impact, but after a couple years, I mean, he was at all-star status, like that, and that's just one example. But I think Oladipo, this is his 4th season now, or 5th season, 4th or 5th season now. I think that he's going to be able to get to that point.
He will. I think so. Oladipo still has a lot of potential left.
And I'm really surprised by the Pacers because, again, I thought this was going to be a quote-unquote rebuilding year for them, but they're not laying down whatsoever. They're off to a 4-3 start, and I think that this is a team that can absolutely make the playoffs now.
No, for sure, and hopefully they do.
Okay, getting on down the list here. Speaking of the Thunder, they have played a couple of games against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the past week, or about 10 days or so. Rick, I'm going to ask you a question. The Timberwolves have won both of these matchups, and they've been very close. They've come down to the absolute wire. But are the Wolves actually better than the Oklahoma City Thunder?
That's a really tough one. They're both great teams. But I think the Thunder just have more talent. You have the reigning MVP, Paul George, an all-star, and Carmelo Anthony. That is just too and they have experience. The Timberwolves are still young. Towns, Wiggins are all still young. I think the Thunder are better, and they will end with a better record.
I like your points. I really do. I have to go with what I've seen, and I've seen the Timberwolves, even though they both come down to the wire, both extremely talented, don't get me wrong, but the Timberwolves have come out on top once at home, and they also beat them in Oklahoma City, even though it was an illegal screen, and it should have been called, and it was a turnover, but the shot was made, and they won nonetheless. The win is a win, right?
Right, win is a win.
I mean, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, let's be honest. But for me, the Timberwolves, I like them. I like them better, mostly because Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is like a jack of all trades. On the defensive end, on the offensive end, he can shoot threes. He makes his free throws. He's athletic,
durable, efficient.
Absolutely. I mean,
he hasn't missed a game, I don't think.
Absolutely, and he's just he's got all the marbles you want in one bag, and he's a great player. Andrew Wiggins is starting to come into his own. We've seen it now. He's a big shot taker and a big shot maker. On top of his athletic ability and the way that he's able to throw down, on top of defenders, not even in the open court. His 3-point game has gotten better. I think Jimmy Butler. I think when he was out those couple games, they didn't really have the leadership on the floor that they needed to win. But with him, I think that the sky is the limit for these guys. Jimmy is shown to be a great leader, and him coming back that second game against Oklahoma City at home, it's truly incredible to see him work coming back off that upper respiratory infection. I really like the Timberwolves.
No, yeah, so do I. They're going to be a great team, and Jamal Crawford, he's been playing well.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Jay Crossover, he's still great even in his quote unquote advanced age.
he still has it. One of the best bench six man of all time.
Absolutely, and that's no discredit to the Oklahoma City Thunder either. I've been raving about them. I want them in the Western Conference Finals, and I think that they have a good shot to get there. I really like Russell Westbrook. I think that he's the best point guard in the league. Paul George is a really good two-way player. He knows how to play off the ball. He's unselfish. And Carmelo Anthony, this is a guy that's been a prolific scorer in this league for the past decade. And he's been an incredible talent for a very, very long time. And
he's one of my favorite players in the league, to be honest.
Absolutely. And it was really I'm not going to lie, it was really disappointing when he made that move to the Knicks because I just really didn't see. I mean, you saw the potential of what could be, but it was a lot of injury-prone guys, and the Knicks organization as a whole, just their front office and owner and everything, just it didn't seem like it was going to work, and obviously did not end up working. But now that he's out of that system and he's in an environment where he can win and go far in the playoffs, and it's really exciting to see what he's going to be able to do. And so far, the first 7 games the Thunder have played, he's looked great in that offense.
He has. No, I want before Melo retires to get a ring.
I'm not gonna argue against that. That's something I've been wanting him to at least have a shot.
A shot.
At getting a ring. Him and Chris Paul both. Just at least get to the finals. We know Melo has been to the conference finals once with that Nuggets team, and Billups and Iverson and those guys.
Oh yeah.
J.R. Smith. Man, Nuggets J.R. Smith.
Oh,
that guy was exciting.
That was one of the most exciting ones in the league.
That man was something else. But no, getting back on track. No, I really think that the Thunder have a chance to go far. Man, just this season. It's only been a couple weeks. I'm still excited, and we have many months ahead of us.
Yeah,
it's going to be a ride.
And I still think like it's going to look very different a month from now.
I'm sure. We'll be sitting here and we'll be looking back on what we said, today, a month from now, and we'll be like, man, we were so wrong. Like,
right.
And that's not to say that the Pistons aren't going to be, a top 5 seed a month from now. Maybe the Cavs are still, out of the playoffs or at a 7 or 8 seed. They still haven't gotten it together. But some things will change, and we have no idea what it's going to be. And that's why it's so much fun.
I do like that. I'd rather, I don't want to be able to predict, oh, my goodness, this is going to be good. That's not cool.
Absolutely. But, one more point here before we get to our predictions for the night, which Rick absolutely destroyed me last week in the prediction game. He's going to take home that point. But last point on the list for today, De'Aaron Fox has been playing really, really well for the Sacramento Kings. And this makes you think the Kings signed George Hill to a 3-year, $57 million contract in the summer. Why? You would think that this would be an insurance policy, but if De'Aaron Fox was going to be their guy and he's playing this well, why did you feel the need to throw almost $20 million a year at a point guard that's obviously washed up? And I like George Hill.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, great player, but just exactly how you said, if De'Aaron Fox is going to be your guy, why go out, grab George Hill, give De'Aaron Fox the keys to that team, let him do what he wants. He's an amazing player. I just don't understand.
I don't either. And, they also gave money to Zach Randolph and Vince Carter, respectively. But, those guys combined making, $50 million. I mean, these are veterans that you need on your team, but that's also money that you could have saved up in the next couple years when free agency hits that are like, wow, man, the Kings got a lot of young talent. I really like this Fox kid. Cauley Stein's pretty good. Let me go play with them.
Exactly.
But you can't because you don't have any cap space.
I don't like that. I understand, okay, the veterans, they deserve that. They deserve to get paid and all that, but not that much, because how much are you going to pay for veteran presence,
Right. Only so much, and we saw that with KG and the Timberwolves a couple years ago.
Exactly.
When it was his last year. He took a cheap contract. I think he was only making $4 million a year.
It should be like that, let the guys who are playing well get paid.
Right. And, he wanted to do that, and I think there needs to be more guys like him. He came back to the Timberwolves organization. He wanted to end it where it all started. And, Karl Anthony Towns will tell you, you can look up interviews about him and Kevin Garnett. KG taught him a lot, if not the majority of what he knows and how he's able to succeed in the league, just about NBA culture, even the Timberwolves culture, how to be, physical inside, how to be a veteran at a young age, and just, have the tools and the mindset of what it means to win in this league. And no one better to teach you as a big man than Kevin Garnett, the big ticket.
Honestly, you right on the money with what you just said.
And I mean, you know all too well. I mean, winning that championship with Boston was it 2008, I believe. And
anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
I still go when I need some inspiration. I go and watch that video.
Oh my goodness!
It just makes you feel good.
It really does, though. I mean, I've seen that interview over a handful of times, and you could just the passion that he brought to the game was the emotion. Some of the antics that he brought to the game were some not for young children, but
no.
definitely brought some more excitement and emotion and passion and all that stuff to the game, and it was just great to watch.
Great to watch, honestly, one of the best of all time.
Absolutely, even in his later years, in Brooklyn, when he had that incident with David West, he was still at it, and the man was 37 years old. He didn't care.
Brought it. Yeah, no, for sure. It was crazy to watch.
Oh, KG. KG is definitely one of my favorite players of all time.
Man, what a guy.
But getting on to our predictions, that's going to conclude the segment portion of the show today. But getting on to the predictions, hopefully I can redeem myself here and take the lead back. But we're going to go ahead and start them off. We got 12 games tonight for November 1st. The first one is going to be Atlanta at Philadelphia. Rick, who you got?
I got Philadelphia.
I do too. I don't think the Hawks are going to come into Philly, and it's even going to be close, to tell you the truth. The Hawks are, wow, man, what a mess.
What a mess
of a team. You can tell they're trying to tank this year, and especially without Dennis Schroeder.
Right.
My gosh, the ball movement has been horrendous since he's
you got
out.
to feel for them, and I think just Ben Simmons is going to go off, and as well as Embiid. What about Suns at the Wizards?
I'd be a fool to bet against the Suns, but I know the Wizards have dropped these past couple games. I think that they'll bounce back and get the W at home. I expect John Wall to pick it up on the offensive end. We know that his shooting percentage has been poor ever since that Lakers game. I'm not sure if it was the pressure of playing against Lonzo Ball.
Right.
But that game as a whole was just really interesting last week.
It was.
But, no, I'm going to go ahead and take Washington.
Washington, I'm just going to go ahead with the Suns. They'll keep this momentum going. Booker come in there, drop 30.
That's fair to say. How about Pacers at Cavs?
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be honest with you. I want the Cavs to win this one.
I do, too. I want them to win, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Indiana.
Indiana, okay.
I'm going to say Oladipo takes another one, and the Cavs' struggles continue.
I could see that. What about the Bucks at Hornets?
I think I'm going to go with Charlotte on this one. I know Dwight Howard had a bad game a couple nights, or was it last night, I believe. Only 6 points. I believe he shot 2 of 9 from the field. I think he's going to bounce back and have a better game. Hornets take it at home.
I'm going to go with the Bucks. You know, they got the future MVP in my eyes.
The Greek Freak.
He's going to go in there, dominate. I got Milwaukee for this one.
All right. How about Sacramento at Boston?
I think Celtics keep on this hot streak they're going and take it at home.
I'll have to agree with you. Sacramento struggling right now. Only 1-5 on the season.
Man.
I'm going to go ahead and take Boston.
What about the Bulls at Heat?
I think if Hassan Whiteside plays, it's definitely going to be Miami. But I give the Bulls a shot just because Lauri Markkanen has been getting better and better every single week. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take Miami.
Miami, that's a tough one for me. I think the Bulls take it. I think the Bulls take this one.
All right, how about Orlando and Memphis?
Orlando and Memphis. I'm going to go with the Magic. Or Aaron Gordon, I want him to do good. I think they'll come in and get that W.
With as good as they've been playing, I'd be a fool to pick against them. But I like the Grizzlies at home, and I'm trying to make it interesting. So I'm going to take the Grindhouse on this one.
Oh man. Okay, what about the Timberwolves at Pelicans?
Let's see. Rondo's still out. That's not good. But AD's back. Him and Boogie. I like Drew Holiday. Each one more starting to get better. No, I'm not going to pick against them. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the Timberwolves.
Gosh, guys, I thought you were going to get the Pelicans. I'm going to agree with you on this one. Go with the Timberwolves. I think they'll win. I think Karl Towns will go in there, have a nice game.
I just don't think the Pelicans have shown me enough that they can contend with a top-tier Western Conference team yet.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I know that they hung in there with the Golden State Warriors, but I don't know what's going on with them this season. So I'm going to stick with the Timberwolves. How about the Houston Rockets and New York Knicks?
Man, I'm going to go just roll the dice on this one and go with the Knicks.
I mean, okay, man. Hey, they've been playing well. Porzingis is looking good, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Houston Rockets on this one. I think James Harden is going to go off. I expect them to shoot well over 35% from three with that Knicks defense. I'm going with Houston.
Okay, no, I understand. What about the Raptors at Nuggets?
I got to go with my team. Let's go Raps.
I don't blame you. And just how you want to make it, I'm just going to make it interesting. Go with the Nuggets, Jamal Murray. I hopefully he does good.
Ride him to victory. Okay, how about the Portland Trailblazers at the Jazz?
Oh, this is a tough one. I got Nurkic on my fantasy team. I want the Blazers to
take it. Okay, I'm going to take the Jazz. They're at home. I really like what Rubio and Gobert have been doing.
They've been nice.
I think they get it done.
Okay, final one. How about Mavericks at Clippers?
Clippers.
Yeah. I can't argue with that one. Clippers take this one for sure.
Like I said, we talked about this before the show. If Dennis Smith has some more magic in that hat, the Mavs might be able to take care of business. I mean, the Clippers did just lose by almost 30 points to Golden State. So,
yeah,
we'll see how they bounce back from that, but I'm still taking the Clippers on this one.
Yeah, no, Blake Griffin going to have a nice night. I think they'll take it too.
All right, that's going to conclude the predictions. We'll see who takes it this week. We're currently tied 1-1, so it's getting interesting.
It is.
But
this is my favorite part of the show, to be honest.
It's always fun because whenever I'm watching the games, I'm like, don't lose. I can't lose to Rick.
Right.
But no, that's gonna conclude today's episode. Hopefully you did enjoy. And go ahead and share it with your friends if you did. If you know anyone that likes basketball, go ahead and spread the word. We're trying to.
Please do. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Just share it. Get it out there. We enjoy doing this. I have a lot of fun doing this.
Absolutely. We look forward to it every week. You know, and we weren't going to do it, but it's just too much fun. You know, like,
it is.
Sleep is for the week.
That's true.
We come in here and get it done for you guys. But no, that's going to conclude today's show. And like we said, we hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.